of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Wyatt.
Here.
Engel. Here. Reister is absent. Bunce. Present. Stabell.
Here.
On the agenda, I'd like to move item N up to in front of item A under general government. And then can I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda, anything to remove? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Committee reports and recommendations. Scott, Public Works Committee, November 13th.
We had discussions about dugout bid that we received, asked for additional bids along with value engineering suggestions from the contractors, so we'll revisit that. We approved a 2080 agreement related to OSHA training. We approved the elimination of the fees at the golf course. And then we had discussion about the operator in charge, along with approving, what did we approve? Oh, the 30-minute response time for Public Works Department employees.
Any questions for Scott?
Just one quick comment, when reading this, when I was reading about the ballparks with that, it's a really large dollar amount, so I'm glad that you guys sent that back, because I just think it's a lot of money for
It's
little kids.
Boot ton of money.
I said, I was figuring at 150 kids a year at $30 that they pay to play or
Yeah,
something
but
like that.
that isn't the idea behind
But still,
the changes is to start having tournaments down there. that
absolutely,
actually
but
bring in
still,
money.
even at that, you're at 23
Oh,
years
it's-
before it's paid for,
it's
so we
very
need to make sure
expensive.
that's
Dial it
reasonable.
back a little bit. I mean, they
Well-
went off the ones that were,
Yeah, we've had a
Built
couple
it.
more come in after
Waterloo.
that.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
so-
just,
and that was all steel construction, and
Mhm.
I think we can accomplish what you're after up there for less money.
Mhm.
I hope so.
Anything else for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Public safety, Kate.
That's me. We met, I don't remember which date this says,
Last
November
Thursday.
21st. First thing we discussed was the trap neuter release program. There was quite a few questions about it, but we did agree to, after some back and forth a lot about this, send this to council for an approval for at least a 1-year trial run for this to see what happens. Hiring policy was discussed. There was a lot of discussion about this, is making sure somebody was explicitly from the interview panel that was involved with the position that was being hired for. And I kind of spearheaded this to say that the last public safety position we hired was the first time in 25 or better years that we had hired, and we hope we don't have to do it again for another year, or for that many years again. But that we had discussed about it and want to make sure, even with the writing in that policy, I think it's great how it's written. So that was passed to come to council as well. Future police staffing we talked about. I think that is on here as well for later to talk about, correct? So it's a great place with that. Residency policy, we had no problems with that, to forward that on as well. The Hudson Days Committee had asked us to discuss some information about more enforcement of wristbands as far as Hudson Days, and I think that's gonna be an ongoing discussion with them, and I'm not sure how we'll handle that, but it's not something that public safety can really pass any laws or ordinances about, but continue to make discussions or talk with them about any ways we can help as well. Animal protection ordinance change is on the agenda for tonight. We talked about that as far as dangerous animals, just making sure we have something on the books before anything would come up and happen with that, which I think is a good idea. As well as the snow removal ordinance change. We had looked at a really more restrictive one last year. What Chief Banks had brought to us for this year is what he had used in Tripola that he said seemed to work real well, so that is on the agenda for tonight as well. We adjourned at 5:10.
Any questions for Kate?
Did anything trigger that animal issue?
No.
Oh, just it was, we don't have anything.
Preemptive,
We should be,
yes.
okay.
He had
Just curious.
concerns.
I was just gonna say, was that something the chief brought up?
Yes,
Okay.
he had concerns because he had used that policy in Chipola previously and noticed that we did not have anything on the books. So just wanted to make sure before anything would happen that there was something out there, which I think is a great
No,
idea.
I appreciate
So-
him having new eyes
Yep.
for a
Yep.
lot of our ordinances.
Absolutely, so no, I thought that was great, so he brought that to committee to send forward, so.
Any other questions for Kate? Thank you, Kate. I'll open the public hearing to amend section 6908 of the City of Hudson Code of Ordinances, no parking on Riders Road and fast lane in the Deutsch edition. Any written
No.
comments? Any oral comments? Close the public hearing. General government, Hudson City Council maintains the right to waive the first and second readings of the ordinances presented and may pass the third and final readings of the same ordinance within the same council meeting. We'll go to item N, which is discussion action to approve resolution 2555, a resolution to purchase park equipment for the recreation department.
I would make a motion to approve this.
Second?
Discussion.
Appreciate the grant we got from Walmart.
Yeah.
Sure helps out a lot, and getting this on sale is awesome, so I think it'll be a great addition to you guys' space up there.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Engel. Aye.
4-0. Okay, back to item A, discussion action to approve the first reading of ordinance 825, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hudson, Iowa by adding chapter 6908, no parking zones, which is the Riders Road and the northern portion of Fast Lane.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Engel. Aye. Bunce,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
4-0. Item B, discussion action to approve resolution 2543, a resolution for approval to offer employment and set wage for public works employee for the City of Hudson, Iowa. And this is for Jeremy Even, who would be basically Rick's replacement. Not fully certified, and we'll have a discussion on that later.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Bunce,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel. Aye. Stabell.
Aye.
4-0. Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2544, resolution for approval of an agreement for services of certified water treatment, water distribution, and wastewater treatment operator, and this would be with Iowa Municipal Solutions LLC. Basically is an agreement for $2,700 a month to cover our gap in certifications so that he would be operator by affidavit. And then he also, what's not in here, we've got the approval on this at the $2,700 a month. That can be changed at any time. When we have, once we get Jeremy properly certified, which may be as much as 18 months. Well, once we get Jeremy in line with handling all of the water samples and stuff, then this contract will be able to reduce it to $850 a month. It'll be a separate agreement, probably after about 2 more months, and then at $850 a month until Jeremy becomes fully certified, which we're expecting to be 18 months or sooner, depending on how we get training to him.
But don't we, oh, sorry, do we need
Yep.
to move and all that first?
Motion to approve?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Okay, more discussion.
So why do we need this if Rick's still on staff?
He moved up his retirement date till December 20th.
Of this year?
Of this year?
Yes.
Oh, he's
Yes.
leaving next month?
Yes.
Oh,
So that's why
good.
this has gotten speedy.
Got you, okay. I was like, why do we need this if we
Yeah.
already have somebody
And we had to
certified on
give,
staff?
we had to give DNR notification that he's leaving 30 days in advance, so we did that yesterday, or
Okay.
today.
So will our
and
contract
also-
start on the 20th, or is it
It'll
the
start
first?
on December 20th.
Okay,
And also, this individual, who's the Iowa Municipal, will help fill out any additional necessary paperwork, getting himself approved for that, so part of
and
our plan.
that started today.
Yep.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and this thing can be amended from $2,700 to $850 at
Yeah, and
any
we-
time we choose.
Yes,
And then-
and we've got that in writing from him. Heather has looked across the agreement. We've got 2 minor verbiage changes just on the insurance certification limits. And Chris talked with him a half hour ago, and he's fine basically with both of them. So we'll get those, just a minor wording wording modification in the agreements.
And once we get Jeremy on board, we just have 30 days, we have to give him notice.
Yeah,
To-
just, 30 days notice
And
to
it's a
go to the
month-to-month
reduced
thing.
one.
Is
Yep.
it?
Okay.
It's a month, basically.
So
No
then,
term.
once Jeremy is up and running,
Yep.
we can be done with this
Yes.
Once he's
contract.
fully
It's
certified
just
to
a
twos, yes.
in between with that.
So that we are in compliance.
That makes sense to
Okay,
me.
thank you.
And this is the DNR's notified of, this is
Right.
standard, so that
It's
they're
standard.
cool with this, and
Yep.
that makes it all good.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Buns,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Engel. Aye. Wyatt.
Aye.
Thank you, 4-0. Item D, discussion action to approve resolution 2545, a resolution for approval to offer position for part-time police officers, and this would be to Caleb Lind and Amy Marino.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Engel. Aye. Wyatt.
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
4-0. Item E, discussion action to approve resolution 2546, a resolution approving the state of Iowa annual urban renewal report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019, and Blackhawk County tax increment financing report for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2019.
So moved. Second?
Discussion?
Is this,
What is it exactly?
yeah, I mean, when I look at these numbers, it's just like lots and lots of numbers. My assumption is clearly that you're the numbers guru, so I have lots of faith in you and Chrissy as the backup, but, I mean, it
Actually,
seems to
it's
me
her
like
numbers, I'm the backup.
some
to
of
her.
this doesn't, I mean, there's really no wiggle, it's not like something we can really change, just, I mean, it is what it is, am I wrong?
The only way you could change it is say, I don't want all my TIF eligible taxes.
And why would you ever do that?
Yeah,
That's right.
Right.
okay. I
Yeah,
just
the
was-
first report, that has not so many numbers on it.
Yes.
That's that's basically our reconciliation for FY19. So I basically have to say what my ending balance was and what I spent, what I got is what the ending balance should be for this year.
Okay.
So then the other reports that have all of the development agreements and stuff on it, that's actually what we're certifying for fiscal year 21.
Okay.
So that's what we're asking for. Now, whether or not, we're not guaranteed all of that, but that's what we're asking for. We're asking for the absolute maximum that we can get.
Because if houses and stuff don't get built at the extent, speed that we think, then our actual ability to get
Sure.
would be up to that. So
Because then that,
Yep.
I don't know, what was that, what did you call that number? I don't remember what it was, like the really, really high number on each of those things, that's what we're shooting for.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, yep.
That's why you might not use all of it.
Yep. Roll call.
Engel,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
4-0. Item F, discussion action to approve resolution 2547, a resolution of the city council of the city of Hudson, Iowa, approving a right-of-way license agreement with Unity Fiber LLC. And what this was is simply the agreement that had been with McLeod USA back in 1997. Its name changes, bankruptcies, all that type of stuff. And we've had all the stuff, and Heather and I have looked through it for about 2 months.
Nice.
And finally said, okay, that works.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
4-0. Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 2548, a resolution to amend the residency requirement policy.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
I really like this version of it a lot better because it's not everybody, and I like that it's time in from City Hall too, which makes a complete difference to me. So we looked at it at Public Safety, and the chief was accepting, thought it was great too. So I think it's a great change. It's not a one-size-fits-all for everyone.
And it
So
only pertains to full-time people.
absolutely,
Yeah.
which is perfect, so it makes sense
Does it say that in there? That it only does full-time?
You should.
in the.
Yep, first paragraph.
Mhm.
Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
4-0. Item H, discussion action to approve resolution 2549, a resolution to approve the hiring process policy.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
No, sir.
I think we had talked about, there is a discussion on this one, I'm sorry.
I thought that was-
Lady Rhea.
Yeah, there is. I had to think about this for a second. The one thing that I do want to bring up, that I have a concern with, is the, I'm trying to pull it up right now here. Christie, do you have the page number?
There it is.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
Um,
I've got it memorized, so we don't need that.
I would like to make a change to this, just because number 6, and it says, the mayor shall establish a hiring committee for the open position. The committee shall consist of the mayor, at least one but not more than 2 council members and any appropriate staff or committee. Is there a way we can say it can consist of the mayor, just in case, I mean, right now, we've got a really
Do you want-
hands-on
Do you
mayor.
want can or do you want should? Should does not require it. Shall kind of requires it.
Shall requires it, that's the reason I was in there, because if
Or
we
you
have
can
a,
say may.
yeah,
Which word do you prefer?
I don't know. I don't know that question
Yeah.
right now, but I think it's,
Must.
yeah, 'cause-
I think it still should be a should at this point.
yeah, I think should is
Only from
fine.
the standpoint that basically everybody reports up to me and I wanna kind of be involved in
Right.
it. Now, granted, another mayor may not wanna be that involved.
Exactly, that's kind of where I was
But
at with
shouldn't
this.
the council want the mayor to be involved? at
Yeah, but
least
if
that
it's
point?
even a part-time person or something,
Oh,
could you?
part-time's not going there.
Yeah,
This is just
that-
This
full-time.
is just
Just
full-time
full-time.
still?
Right,
Does it say that on here too?
Well, it depends on which, no, it is, it's just for full-time, sorry, yeah.
Wait, where does
But it
this?
might not say that in there.
I was gonna say, so that's something that we need to look at here with this. I just think there's a couple of other, there was something else that I was gonna bring up with this, but, I think it's great to put something in writing how we've had it. You know, because there was, I mean, it's just communication, we wanna make sure that all the information goes out to the right committees.
Yeah. How about if we use should? Because that way, the burden on the mayor, whoever that is to either be on it or explain to the council why not.
I think that's okay, I mean, and again, I'm not saying that the mayor won't be on them,
Right.
or that they shouldn't be, or whatever, but to say shall means that it's required
Right.
to,
Let's go with the
and I
should.
don't know that that's always necessary in this.
Normally it doesn't say what number, how many, you don't have a maximum.
There was another thing on here, hold on, I should have to, that's fine, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what we had, I know most of the discussion was on that number 6.
The only other thing that we had talked about, which isn't gonna make any bit of difference until the legislature changes stuff, is, the Hudson Herald and or Waterloo Courier stuff, because eventually, I think you'll find that going away from print, with costs and with everything else. Now, are we required to post,
10 days, right?
we're required to post for so many days, to the veterans, the preference law. Are we required to post it in a written periodical?
Probably.
No, we're not.
No, you're not.
Newspaper.
But that was one of the things that
No.
you talked about was,
Where would you post it?
You can post it
because
on the door.
to start with, all we did
Oh,
was
there, right.
post for the chief's job.
Right,
And that's what raised the whole thing.
That is what
We-
raised the
We
whole
did
thing.
not have a requirement to do it. So the question is whether we want to have it required to advertise in a periodical as far as at least full-time positions.
well, it wasn't even the periodical that I was concerned with, it was the online free stuff that we have, the, you know, the Cedar Valley Grow and those other online ones, which aren't listed in here.
So can we put in there like a minimum of 3, 2 being online, 1 being written, or something?
That's
like
what I'm
that?
kind of wondering, because, I mean, obviously, if we've got a paper of record, that's where the minutes and everything have to be published, but it doesn't, we're not required by law to do it in the paper. But I would like there to be some sort of, I don't think posting it on the door is ample enough as a minimum requirement.
One of the paragraphs in there is that we have to come up with a hiring plan. And I think within that hiring plan, one of those paragraphs, by definition, would say that we've got to tell the committee or council how we anticipate going after that position.
Like as far as advertising goes?
Yeah, so it could be on a case-by-case basis, but it's got to be a plan of how that is. I was thinking that was in number 3, 4, 5, somewhere through there.
8 just talks about the advertising.
8 does?
So the
Right,
mayor,
yeah.
city clerk, and position supervisor shall write the advertisement for the open position.
Yeah,
Number 4 is the beginning of it.
That's a different thing, I guess.
If you're trying to fill it, you're not just gonna post it on the door.
Well, but we did with the chief's position.
Yeah, cause it
Which
was,
is what brought this
because
up.
This is what brought it up.
because it was,
So, yeah, a police
Okay,
chief, yeah,
maybe we would.
right.
so in number 5, it says that the dates for advertising opens, the deadline to receive completed, and if and where the city shall advertise for the open positions in addition to the 3 legal posting locations. So the 3 legal posting locations is the 2 Doors and the Hudson Herald.
And basically, Personnel Admin Committee will make the decision on where it will be advertised and when and how much.
Yeah, and
Which
I
we
pretty
did not-
much,
That's what you're saying, Chris.
right, and so then it says if timing allows, then the advertisement shall be placed in the Hudson Herald and or the Waterloo
So
Courier.
basically, if timing allows, it shall be placed. So there's kind of a,
Again, you know, my
Hudson Herald's
concern
already
is,
won in the
Jim, let
vote,
us do
right?
this, please let us have this discussion here. My concern is, again, and not that I don't think we got the best candidate out there, but we hired for a police chief for the first time in over 25 years, and the only thing we did was post it on a door.
yeah, and I,
Right, and we've
Accept
talked
the
about this, and I
responsibility
get
for that.
this,
Yeah.
but I wanna make sure that doesn't happen again,
Mhm.
especially in a supervisory
Yeah.
position, so is there a way that we can go back with this? You know, and maybe it's a difference in a supervisory position versus a regular full-time position. I don't know, but I want there to be more teeth in this as far as what goes that way.
well,
And-
instead of saying when timing allows, how about if we say in there, all full-time positions shall be advertised in the Hudson Herald and or Waterloo Courier and other internet-based abilities. So that we do it
Yes.
automatically on all full-timers.
But I don't want to, this is another concern then,
Mhm.
I don't know that it's worth the money to throw it in the Waterloo Courier, to be 100% honest with you. You know what I mean?
And
Or the
that's
Hudson
kind of
Herald.
what came into play when I
Right.
decided not to.
Absolutely. Now, do I think that there are 15 other places that we could post it online as far as clerks, your clerk's
Yep,
net?
and I do, I have a whole list of them.
Right.
Yep.
The Cedar Valley Grow, which is free because we're a member, and other places like that, yes.
So-
But I don't know that this is required,
So
that we
what-
should require it
So
for
what if
that.
the Personnel Committee is responsible for developing the plan for advertising and procuring city council approval
I'm okay with that,
Okay.
on full-time positions?
on full-time positions. I mean, part-time, again, I'm not really worried about a part-time position. If you're gonna hire a lawnmower, we don't need to, you know, post it in 47 different places.
That way we got, Personnel Committee is basically responsible for coming up with what it
I think
does.
that's great,
But for full-time positions, we'll have city council approval on the advertising
as
plan.
the hiring plan.
Yep.
I think that's fine, I'm good with that.
Okay, so we probably wanna change number 5?
Number
Is that
5,
what you're looking at? Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
So do I have a motion to amend that document as discussed?
I would make that motion to amend it as discussed.
I'll
Second?
second.
All in favor, say aye.
The should instead of shall.
Yeah.
yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, back to the amended motion. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Stabell.
Super, good
Thank you,
discussion,
guys.
good discussion. Item I, discussion action to approve resolution 2550, resolution for approval of an agreement for animal services for the city of Hudson, Iowa. And this would be with Cedar Bend Humane Society, and it also includes within it a 50% cost share with the city, up to a limit of 20 cats and once per lifetime.
For 1 year.
Yeah, this is a trial for 1 year.
So
Right.
moved.
Second?
Further discussion?
We did discuss with the police department as well, Chief Banks, about if you, if you feed a cat, technically you own this cat.
Yep.
Which means you are only allowed to have 3 pets in the city of Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're feeding 20 stray cats, you own 20 stray cats and you can no longer do that. Now, again, I know we've been kind of policing this more on a complaint-driven basis, which I think we will continue to do, but hopefully we can get this information out to the correct people.
Yep.
Again, there was a lot of discussion about concerns with this agreement in the public safety, just because is this enough to actually change anything? But I think we're never going to rid our city of stray cats. And we live by a green belt and a co-op,
Yep.
so some stray cats are not a bad thing to have either. But we wanna make sure that people know that if you feed cats, they belong to you, and I think somehow we need to get that out into the information
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
a good information going out and referencing the fact that we now have, if you have a
Yes.
problem, we have the ability to assist.
Right,
It's not a freebie, but we can
No.
assist.
no, and I think this is a really good compromise and a humane way of doing things too, but yes.
So you said 3 pets per household?
3 cats.
3 cats.
Well, 3 pets, so
So then
it's,
why do we have a 20 per resident?
What it is we're saying, we've got some residences that have got 20 out there. We
Okay.
got one very close to here.
All right.
And it was because the individual was feeding them because felt sorry for the cats. We told them, don't feed them, they'll go away. That goes a certain way, but it's a case, it's to be able to finally enforce it, because we have not, we've tried to leverage. This gives us something that becomes a partnership that says we're willing. But eventually, we may get to a point where it's not complaint-based. We may get into, if this works well this year, I think we will probably, what I'll be in favor of is stricter enforcement as opposed to waiting on complaints. Sometimes we'll have a complaint from a neighbor and we'll say something and we'll send a notice to the person and say, hey, you've got to deal with it. Sometimes they deal with it and then they get right back to the old habit. So
Yeah, it's a tough
I'm
one.
optimistic, but
If you're
naively,
setting
probably.
food out front, you know, but that's not helping
Yeah.
the rest of the town or the neighbors.
this is the most humane way to take care of the.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Try to
we
combat
hope, we
the
hope
issue.
they see that and take care of it and find them a home.
And in all honesty, I don't personally think we will have an overwhelming number of people that are willing to spend $500 of their own money on stray cats. But if they are willing to, more power to them. You know, I love animals as well, but stray cats are not gonna starve if you don't feed them Meow Mix outside either. They're, a reason they're stray cats and they find other places to eat,
Yeah.
so we'll do more enforcement.
So when you get into the enforcement part of it, now we got 30 cats across the street as opposed to 20. Which 20 did she have?
Well.
They notch their ears. When
Oh,
they do them.
they mark them.
Yeah, they mark them when they let them go.
All right,
And
Yes, they are
hopefully, any of them that are adoptable, they will keep and let them out for adoption
Right.
rather than returning them. The goal
Or-
is to not return more than 3, but
Right.
Yeah,
we
or
don't
if they're not
hold.
fit
Right.
to,
If they're sick.
for outdoor environment, they will.
If they're too sick, yeah, if they're
Yeah.
injured or sick, they will
Right.
understood.
take care of them.
So it's a 1-year shot at something.
Gotcha.
We figured we could try it for a year and
Yeah.
Yep,
See what
come back
happens.
again.
okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Sibel,
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Scott really wants to adopt more cats now, is what I'm hearing from him.
There'll be some available.
I got another solution. but I won't.
4-0.
On camera, on camera.
He doesn't care.
If they were Maine
Hello,
Coon
Peter.
cats, you could sell them for $1,000 a piece, but they aren't.
They're not.
If you wanna see a picture of a big cat, I got one for after the council meeting. Kids have got. Discussion action, item K, I think,
No, Jay.
J.
Jay.
Discussion action to approve resolution 2551, a resolution to appoint Park and Rec board member, and this is for Jason Nestaby. And I wanna thank Melissa Woltz for her past service. She's felt she needed to retire from it for a while, so. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Engel.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Sibel,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
4-0.
Thank you, Jason.
Item K, discussion action to approve resolution 2552, a resolution setting a public hearing to amend chapter 55 of the Code of Hudson Code of Ordinances. And this is for, which one, the animal control?
Dangerous animals?
Yes, this is.
For
it.
dangerous animals, and that's setting the public hearing for December 16.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion,
Again, just to confirm, this did not stem from an incident.
right.
This is proactive.
You need to get out here, Brenda.
I know we can get through these.
Okay. Roll call.
Engel.
Aye.
Sibel,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns, sorry.
Aye.
4-0. Item L, discussion action to approve resolution 2553, a resolution setting a public hearing to amend section 6914 of the City of Hudson Code of Ordinances. And this is for the snow removal, which is a change to, instead of doing snow emergencies, If there is a snow to be removed, you gotta get the cars off the street. Pure
How
and
are we
simple.
gonna, well, after the public hearing and we pass this, how are we gonna let everybody know that that's a new thing?
We can,
We include it in the utility bills?
I know, but
Yeah.
that doesn't, I mean.
yeah, well, and it'll be a lot of,
Good rates.
the first year, Chief Banks said that it was a lot of knocking on doors and
Okay.
saying,
Warnings.
hey,
This is how we do it
this is
now.
how we're going to do it now, and
Okay.
give them a warning the first time, and then after that.
He did say that they had a lot of pushback, the first year in Chipola, but it got much better after that. Once people understood it, it was a very smooth process for them, so.
Just curious, thank you. So moved,
Did we already do that?
I don't,
I don't know,
I
Jim?
missed it if you did, sorry.
Second,
Okay. Roll call.
and that's the 16th again, right?
Right.
Yes.
16.
Thank you.
Engel,
aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Stabell.
4-0. Item M, discussion action to approve resolution 2554, resolution to approve the 2020 holiday schedule, and it's basically the same as this year.
So moved,
Second.
Discussion,
That follow League of Cities.
Mhm.
Yes, all in good cities.
Perfect.
roll call.
Engel,
aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
4-0. There's a number of informational items in the packet. Regular scheduled meetings held at council chambers except for electric board and library board. Public Works is on December 11th at 7 a.m. Public Safety, December 26th at 4 p.m. if you have it. Personnel Admin Finance Committee, December 23rd at 4:45 p.m. Next council meeting is December 16th, which is the only one in December, and then January 13th. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good night, y'all.
Bye, have fun at the banquet.